Coming up today on the debut episode of DLLS Mavs, Marc Stein joins us from Slovenia to give us his recap on Luka Doncic's weekend with Goran Dragic. Also, why we're here, what we'll be bringing, as I got my guys Tim Cato and Bobby Karalla. This is DLLS Mavs. Here we go. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks Insider Tim Cato, Mavericks Analyst Bobby Karalla. We are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys covering your favorite team every single day in the Dallas Mavericks. You can find them at Kevin Gray Sports, at Tim_Cato, at Bobby Karalla. Got a lot to get to on today's episode, but before we get into anything today, Tim Cato, what's going on, man? Welcome.
Man, what a great day to be here. Just a fantastic day.
Yeah.
I think, Kevin, as long as you've known me, you've known two things about me.
Two things.
One is that I love Dallas. Like, Dallas is my city. This is a city I care about. I grew up here. I went to college here. All of the friends in my life, well, a lot of them, are people who I've met here. And this is a place I really care about. And I think through my Mavs coverage, I've tried to show that. I think all the teams here in Dallas, each in their own unique way, kind of reflect Dallas's messiness and imperfectness, but also why we love it, why it's beloved to me. The other thing, you've always known this about me.
Yes.
I hate vowels.
You do.
I just hate vowels so much.
You won't have to worry about any vowels here.
Like when this perfect Venn diagram came up to me, and I just had the opportunity to do Dallas and drop the A's, man. How could I not come here?
This is the show and the state in the place for you with DLLS Mavs. Bobby, what's going on, man?
Kevin Gray, what a day.
What a day to be
in
alive.
Dallas. What a day in Dallas. It's new beginnings for all of us. It's very exciting. It's very exciting. Now, the Cowboys show already went live.
They did. Killed it. Crushed it.
They set the bar pretty high for us. They almost got into a fist fight about Trey Lance. So I don't know who the comp is on the Mavs roster, but I'm prepared to fight God himself for Jaden Hardy.
So, is it Jaden Hardy?
Yeah.
Is he the guy that every Mavs fan fights over?
But it's not a 1-to-1.
If people get a little too temperamental, I might have to get out of my seat and come show you what's up.
Not out of your seat day one. Stay in your seat for day one. Can you do that for me? You can do that.
I'll try.
Bobby, have you ever fought somebody?
He couldn't hurt a fly.
Man.
Bobby couldn't hurt a fly.
No, I don't think so, actually.
He looks like a lover, not a fighter.
I've skillfully avoided.
We're gonna push pin. We're gonna come back to this. We're gonna have a lot of time this week to talk about a lot of different things.
Maybe get the two of you to fight a little bit. I would love to actually see the two of you fight over opinions and everything else. We'll see if we can get that to happen.
Okay,
I'm peaceful.
I'd rather go toe to toe with Marc Stein.
In the chat, do you want to see Bobby Karalla and Tim Cato fight? Put that in chat. Let us know if you want to see the two of them fight by the time we get to the end of the week. We got a lot to get to on today's episode, though. Marc Stein going to be joining us here in about 10 minutes or so. He was in Slovenia covering, of course, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic for Goran Dragic's failed World Tour. But before we get to that, why are we here, fellas? Why DLLS Mavs? What can we expect to not only bring for the folks who are joining us, but also why you guys felt that this was the right time and the right move to be here? We'll start with you, Tim.
I do think that fandom is community. I do think that I have been a fan. I have been a sports watcher of a lot of different teams and things, and I have always found myself looking for a community or just people reacting to it, people who understand, who are seeing the same things as me. I've done this over and over and over again. To me, that's kind of the beautiful thing about fandom. It's irrational. It's weird. You can all just have this, this joke that makes no sense, but you keep repeating it to this in-group, to these friends of yours, to fellow fans of a team. And I think that's just, that's an important thing. It's something that resonates with me. Even as someone who basketball has become my job, I am a professional, and all the stuff that comes with it. I still have soccer teams that I, cheer for and root for. And, I'm certainly just have an understanding and an appreciation for what this means. I do think DLLS can be this type of community for Mavs fans.
Yeah.
And there's so many different ways, and we'll talk a lot more about it. But, Discord, in person, maybe trips, T-shirts.
Becoming a diehard member.
The chat right now, I see the chat going off. Like, all of that stuff. There are so many ways to engage with us, with other fans, with just the shared understanding of the Dallas Mavericks, the team you've chosen to support. Obviously, DLLS, it's all 4 teams here and more. I just think that this is a place that can truly be that, and I'm really excited for that. That's the thing that this entire process most stood out to me about what this company is.
Yeah, a little bit later on the show, we'll talk about kind of our backgrounds and where we came from and all that stuff. But this is about right now, and this is about like the future. Right?
Yeah.
Let's look forward. And Tim, you're talking about fandom being like this in-group, this community. That's what ALLCITY is all about. That's what DLLS is all about. Like, we're doing the show for you. We're not doing the show for us. Even though we all got our starts as fans, I'm still a fan. I love basketball. I love Dennis Rodman. Like, my connection to the franchise runs deep. Yeah. And a couple weeks ago, I was at a mall going to the Nike store, picking up some sweatpants in the offseason.
In this weather?
They're a little cheaper right now. Okay,
Damn.
I'm a bargain buyer.
Hot.
And the guy who checked me out at the store was like, hey, he recognized my name or whatever, and he said, hey, guess what? Like, the other day, Roddy B was in here. I was like, what? And we had this moment talking about Rodrigue Bobois, who's been playing overseas for 15 years.
It's a good day when you get a Bobois reference in, for sure.
That's the thing,
I still
right?
believe, by the way.
Oh, I still believe. Yeah. I'm holding out hope.
Yeah.
But that is the thing that connects us, right? The ties that bind us, like these shared experiences and thinking about the future, think about this next guy, think about the guy that we all believe in that no one else can. There's this very this undercurrent of like this galvanizing force within sports, within fandom that kind of unites us all and sometimes divides us. We'll get into some heated debates, but that's what it's going to be all about here. We're having fun. We're talking about things that we have these mutual interests in. And Kevin, I know that your interests go far beyond basketball.
They do. And for me, whether it's wrestling, whether it's the NFL, for me, the reason why I felt this was the right move, and again, we'll get into more of it a little bit later on, but the word that came to my mind was disruption. The idea that this was going to be something that was going to be new, it was going to be edgy, but most of all, it had the fan in mind, the diehard memberships that you're going to be participating in, all the watch parties, everything that we're going to be doing is geared toward what you want us to do to provide the kind of coverage you want for your Mavericks every single day. And I couldn't be more excited to join this Avengers-like group that we have, not only with Tim, with
missing,
Bobby.
Though, Kevin.
We'll get to him in about 7 minutes or so. And okay. Marc Stein, of course, another one who has signed up for this particular venture. I just am so excited to be able to be a part of this, and I can't wait to see how this community grows, how we'll get out to the community to be with you all, and most importantly, be able to share what we love, and that's the Dallas Mavericks. And, of course, them coming off of a finals appearance last year, it's an exciting time to be a Maverick fan, and I just cannot wait to see how we continue to build this as the time goes on, because there's a lot of memories that come with being a Mavericks fan. And before we get to Mark, I want to talk to you guys about what was your favorite memory from last season, because as many memories as we're going to make here, there's some memories that we're going to look back on as well from last year that we can definitely get into. Tim, I'll start with you.
You start with me every time.
I do, because you're right next to me.
Okay,
you're to my immediate right. You're right there.
I feel like favorite memory is something that it sets a good barometer what you choose, of who you are, what you value, like what stands out the most to you. For me, it is I have this answer, and Bobby was over here being like, well, it's not really an answer. That's more of an observation.
Your answer is what you want it to be, Tim. Don't let Bobby dissuade you. It's your memories.
So I was gonna say Derek Lively, and just the entire process of being a beat reporter, being around, seeing, everybody who followed the Dallas Mavericks got to know Derek Lively this season, and being able to help facilitate that and show who he is and his personality, I thought was just, a fantastic thing. But here, to make it a memory, to make it one single memory, I just thought it was cool. For me personally, I covered my first NBA Finals. Covered a few conference finals with the Mavericks, with other teams, but had never been to an NBA Finals. That was the first time in 12 years of being a credentialed reporter that I'd ever, gone and done that event, covered that event. And the day before Game 1, there's a media day, and it's bedlam. It's chaos. There are several hundred reporters there, all the players, all the staff, all the PR people. Everybody's just milling around on the court. at TD Garden up in Boston. And I'm walking one way to go find somebody. Derek's walking the other way to find someone, and he kind of like spots me, and he's like, "Oh man, finally somebody I know," just in the sea of unusual faces. And so, it's just it's a cool experience. It's a cool thing, and there's no rookie who has impressed me more from the jump than what Derek Lively has. And so, just being able to share everything there is, everything that makes him him. Was just very, very assuring, very satisfying this past season.
And that's something that really kind of highlights the importance of local coverage too.
Yeah.
Because like there's a lot of interest in the NBA.
Yeah.
But guys like you and Stein are super plugged in. Kevin, you're super plugged in. You're at every practice, every press conference. Like we know the team knows us. Like that's what is going to set us apart, I think, from many other platforms.
Amen.
My favorite moment from this past season, I feel like maybe you just forgot about it. You remember the time Luka scored 73?
Hey, there was that time Luka dropped 73 on the Hawks.
That was pretty awesome,
that was pretty dope. Yeah.
It's like 73 points in a real NBA game. And
I heard the Hawks were giving him baskets.
Yeah.
Like
that
holding his hand.
And he's a
Here, Luka, here's another basket.
Yeah.
Unifying moment in Mavs fandom because like the days before, in fact, the very day before that game, Luka's in Atlanta on the TNT set answering questions from Chuck and the guys about like, are you going to stop like crying? Are you going to like get in shape? Are you ever going to play defense? Like, what's the deal, man?
The audacity to ask him those questions. Maybe that's what fueled him to go get them 73 points.
It probably is because the next night dude scored 73. And then instead of everybody saying like, wow, that was awesome, the talking points were like, should we just change the rules? Like, is scoring too easy?
He's killing us too much. Maybe we have to change the rules because of what Luka did.
Yeah, and I just don't remember a moment ever bringing like the fandom together more than that, other than I guess Mavs go down 3-0 and everyone changes their Twitter abbeys, but like that was the moment, and then of course a couple weeks later they make a couple trades, they get PJ, they get Gafford in here, and then they go on the run. Next thing you know, they're in the finals. But I'm not gonna like ascribe like a turning point moment to Luka scoring 70, but that was certainly like a harbinger of really, really good things to come.
Yeah, real quick before we get Mark on, for me, it was a 22-point comeback that the Mavericks had over the Houston Rockets. Kyrie Irving scores 48 points. Luka Doncic has a massive 30-plus point game, but Dante Exum shot that he hit to send the game into overtime, and then the Mavericks winning that game, and then at the end watching Luka and Kyrie just collapse into each other's arms as they walk toward half court, and the team meets them there. And it was a seminal moment for me that it was like, damn, this is a team that feels collectively like they have a chance to do something special. And I thought that was one of the lasting memories from last season, whether it was Kyrie Irving shot over, Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. Shout out to our DNVR folks as well. That was a great memory as well. But for me,
trying to get us fired on day one.
No,
dude.
I'm just trying to set the tone of what it's about to be on the Mavs show. Shout out to our Denver Nuggets folks. But at the same time, that to me was a fantastic moment that I will take with me for a long time, because it took an entire team for them to make that finals run, and Dante Exum was a huge part of that in that particular moment. So for me, that's a lasting memory. We want you to let us know what those memories are as well in the chat.
Are we going to bro hug at the end of the show, kind of like Kyrie?
I mean, we can do that afterwards. We could take fireball shots again.
We saw what the Cowboys did after their show.
We could do a lot of those things. That's right, Kavanaugh. That's right. Fireball. Stay in your show, please. Thank you very much. No, I'm just joking. We invite that kind of encouragement and also interaction with all of our shows here at DLLS Sports. Again, we are so excited to bring you all the coverage that we have throughout the course of the offseason and into this season. Coming up here in just a moment, we're going to hear from Marc Stein, who's in Slovenia, had a chance to cover Goran Dragic's farewell tour game, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, all kinds of stars there as well. But before we get there, are y'all ball knowers?
I know ball? I know a little bit of ball, I think.
Jury's out.
You know some? Okay, you know ball?
It's not for me to say.
It's not for you to say. Well, let me talk to you about Sleeper. I'm calling all ball knowers the Sleeper app that you've known for hosting the best fantasy football leagues in the game. Now allows you to put your knowledge to the test in every game by picking whether your favorite or least favorite players will have more or less in their projected stats each week. Now, I heard that Colorado was taking on North Dakota State on Thursday in their first game. I'm going to take to have Shedeur Sanders have more than his projected 350 passing yards. I'm taking Travis Hunter to have more than his 150 receiving yards as well. So I'm taking the over on both of those. With Sleeper, the more picks you combine, the more you can win. You can all the way up to 100 times your money. If you think you have what it takes, you guys think you have what it takes? Okay, all right,
I'm
cool.
Confident.
No problem.
We're going to find out.
Download the Sleeper app and use the code DLLS Mavs to get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in 25 states. Check out Sleeper today.
Next Cowboys QB, Kevin?
Dak Prescott.
More than 300. Okay.
We're not talking about the Cowboys right now, but we are about to talk to Marc Stein. What?
Kevin.
What?
We got one more. You got to.
I did just forget all about Tim.
Yeah, because you're forgetting.
Well, you
that
take
we're
too
all
long
driven
to get
by the
reads
search
anyway. That's
for
why I was
better.
cut you out. No, I'm just joking.
But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search. Match with Indeed. One of the things I love about Indeed is that I feel certain that I could have got hired here with Indeed. I wasn't,
a lot of confidence.
It was a whole thing. I'm, I guess, public. I have a Twitter. Maybe they found that. But if they had used Indeed, it would have gone even smoother. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Not me. I'm off the market now, guys. But Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. Just go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Tell them Tim sent you.
Yeah, tell them that.
Tell them Tim sent you. All right.
Why wouldn't they? Yeah.
Well, someone who doesn't need a job because he's with us here at DLLS Mavs, we're going to dial up the Stein line and talk to our guy, Marc Stein in Slovenia. What's up, Marc?
He doesn't.
Marc Stein joining us on the show. Marc, what's going on?
K. Gray on debut day, on launch day. Can't believe it's finally here. Can't believe I'm doing this from Ljubljana. That was not how we drew it up. And my first concern was, how's the Wi-Fi going to be? Knock on wood, I think we're okay there. Fingers crossed. And then my second concern is I'm a shouter. And every answer I'm going to shout. It's beyond my control. So I am just hoping that whoever is in the room on either side of me does not call the front desk. That's my goal right now, to make sure that I don't get in trouble on day one. But hey, man, look, I don't yet have my DLLS hat, or even my DLLS hat.
Sure.
I'm gonna have it soon though, and you're gonna see a lot of it. I could not get my DLLS background through customs. It was too big. So the drapes behind me are kind of boring. But man, I've had an incredible weekend. I've been writing about this part of the world for 35 years, but I've never been to this part of the world. And to finally come here, it's been a fantastic trip, honestly.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to get into a lot of that, because for you to be able to have the opportunity to be there, be on the ground, be able to cover what was Goran Dragic's farewell tour game, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic being there as well, we'll definitely get into a lot of the details of that, because it looked like it was just from your images from social media and what you have been writing about, and detailing it looks like it was a great time there. But before we get to that, why DLLS Mavs at this point of your career, a legendary career and one that has been filled with a ton of memories throughout the course of your time covering this league? Why was this the move for you at this point in stage of your career?
It was not to be with Cato, I can assure you that. I'm pumped. I'm honored and pumped to sit here and talk with you and Bobby Karalla. Gonna have to work. Cato and I, we're gonna have to ease into that. No, I'm Cato. I'm just playing. Relax. I'm just kidding. No, honestly, last season, it's funny the way the world works sometimes. Last season, throughout the last 6 months of the season, I was paying attention, and your own podcast was part of this. I was watching how there was just this thirst, this seemingly endless thirst for Mavericks podcasts. And there are like 5 or 6, and it didn't matter how many there were. Every time I would see another one, and everybody's listening to this. And I just kind of hit me last season. Like, I've been in Dallas for more than 25 years. It makes zero sense for me to not do a Mavericks dedicated podcast. And, I was fortunate enough to have the radio show on the same station where you worked. and then that abruptly went away in April. And so I was always thinking that when this new season started, that somehow, some way, I was going to do some sort of Mavericks podcast. But unlike Kevin Gray Industries, I have zero technical ability to edit video. I can barely record video. I had to call my 18-year-old before I got on here with you to make sure I had everything hooked up right. I am hopeless. So I don't know who is going to create this supposed Stein Mavericks podcast, because I can't do, all I can do is talk. And it was so funny in March, Adam Madez from DNVR, who, one of the founders of the ALLCITY network, he came on my radio show in March. We talked a little bit about his concept, and off air I said, hey man, if you guys ever come to Dallas, look me up. I never thought they were going to come to Dallas like 3-4 months later, and it happened, and here we are. And this is absolutely tremendous. I haven't had a chance to see the studio yet, but like I said, now I get to come in studio or join you guys like this wherever I am, and all I have to do is talk, report, analyze the stuff that I know I can do. I do not have to edit, record, or anything technical. So it is the ultimate win-win situation.
Yeah, and we are so excited to have you on board to provide your long and standing insight into this league, covering this league as long as you have, but most importantly, now being able to do it in a format that allows you to be able to bring what is that you do every single day, wherever you are and however you're able to do it. And with that, you led me right into it. You're in Slovenia right now, had a chance to cover Goran Dragic's farewell tour game, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic there, among other stars. Dirk Nowitzki, of course, Hall of Famer and NBA champion. Steve Nash, Hall of Famer there as well. What was the vibe there throughout the arena, throughout the week? And more importantly for you, what were your takeaways in terms of that event and how that informed you on what you were able to do out there?
Well, as you know, they love their hoops here. I mean, hoops is religion throughout the Balkan region. But, Slovenia is a country of only 2 million people. And yes, they have Dragic, who was an all-star. Yes, they now have Luka, who is a worldwide phenomenon. But, it's not an everyday thing here in Ljubljana for Chris Bosh to be here and for Dirk Nowitzki and Steve Nash to be playing tennis at a local tennis club during the day before the nighttime Dragic events. And it's not every day that Jokic shows up on a Saturday afternoon and a few hours later he's playing hoops in the Stožice Arena. So, I mean, as you can imagine, people here have been going wild for this thing. The game was a sellout Saturday night. On Friday night, Dragic organized a gala, and I mean, this thing was so huge that it was on TV SLO1, which is basically the most publicly accessible television channel in the country. This was prime time, like 6 to 8 p.m. viewing. I mean, all kinds of musical performers, and I mean, so this thing has been an absolute an extravaganza. But for me, I get here Thursday night, and I check into the hotel, and literally within a half hour, within the first half hour, I saw Dragic, I saw Chris Bosh, I saw Andy Ellisberg, the front office maestro from the Miami Heat. I saw Bill Duffy, the power agent. Nowitzki and Nash showed up, and I'm like, you know what? I've been dying to come to this part of the world for my whole life, but I will not be leaving this hotel until all of these NBA luminaries leave town. And that's really what it was. Friday and Saturday, I was so blessed to, like, there's Ljubljana's not a big place. People figured out that this is the hotel where everybody's staying. There were people outside all the time, but all I had to do was show my room key, and I'm staying here, and Friday and especially Saturday, I just was an absolute stalker. I just sat in the lobby for 4 or 5 hours intercepting anybody that I could. So it was what I love to do, honestly.
Yeah, and it looked like the atmosphere around the players, obviously for Goran Dragic, a terrific career, an all-star, someone who has really put that part of the world on the map for basketball fans. And of course, Luka Doncic coming behind them, of course, being teammates together with Team Slovenia, winning a Eurobasket title together. What did that seem like for you in terms of, we talk about with Luka Doncic and the influence that Dragic had on his career? What was it like seeing the two of them interact together, and what was a joyous atmosphere celebrating the game the way that they two did in that game?
And that's one of the things you notice. All the guys from the various Balkan countries, they are so close. On Friday night, I got to crash an after party after the gala that I probably wasn't supposed to be at. But you just see Luka and Nikola Vucevic from the Bulls and Bogdan Bogdanovic from the Hawks. And these guys are so happy to be in each other's company. Like, it really is a family vibe when you see these guys together. And, Dragic in 2017, for a country of this size to win the Eurobasket was, you can't put it into words. It probably to this point is still the number one sporting achievement for any team in Slovenia colors. It hasn't been an independent nation for that long. And just to give you an example, Igor Kokoshkov, the former Mavericks assistant, he's now in Atlanta with Quinn Snyder, and the standing ovation he got just being the head coach from that 2017 team. And, basically each team had like 5 coaches here for the Dragic farewell game. The standing O that Igor got, it was as loud as anything that happened all weekend. So that should tell you the level of appreciation for that group. And I don't know if you're familiar with this story. I know I'm kind of rambling on now, but I actually wrote a piece about this 2 years ago, the biggest basketball regret of my life. It's a long story, but basically that summer, I had a lot of difficult personal stuff going on, and Igor invited me to basically be a faux assistant coach, sit behind the bench, go everywhere with Slovenia. Can you imagine?
Wow.
And for a variety of reasons, I was afraid to do it. It was you have to read the whole story on my Substack. It was a contractual mess. But anyway, could you imagine had I gone and spent that whole summer with Slovenia, and then 9 months later, the Mavericks draft Luka Doncic? I could have spent that whole summer with that team. So I always call that like the biggest basketball regret of my life, that I didn't find a way to take that invitation.
Wow, that's a fascinating story, and it just shows you how much the game is loved over there and how much you have connected with the game to have the opportunities to be able to have time over there with him, and then being able to fulfill this chance to be able to spend some time over in Slovenia to be able to cover a game like this with the amount of stars in the arena the way that it was. Before we end this particular segment, because for those of you who are watching this, don't worry, we're going to have a part 2 of our conversation with our national and Mavericks NBA insider, Marc Stein, here on DLLS Mavs. But before we end this particular conversation here, what can we expect from you in terms of your coverage with us here, and how we can look forward to everything that you're going to be providing us when it comes to DLLS Mavs throughout the course of the year, and from a national perspective as well?
Yeah, so as far as I understand it, you're hosting 5 shows a week on the Mavs. Yeah. I think I am going to be at your side for 4 of them. Try to be nice to Cato 4 times a week. And then I will also be making occasional appearances on the other All-City shows. They've got a national show that I mentioned, Adam Madas already, that he hosts a show with Tim Legler. I'm sure I'll drop on there. And of course, you've got Denver, you've got Philly, you've got Chicago, you've got Phoenix. I'm sure I'll be visiting with the NBA shows in those cities as well. And look, again, this is so great. Like, I'm so happy because, like, again, all I have to do is just talk, which is all I can. That's all I'm qualified to do, man. So, like, they found my niche.
Yeah, for sure. And you will have the chance to do plenty of that, definitely, daily here on DLLS Mavs. And, of course, covering this league and the Mavericks every single day. We cannot wait for your coverage, Marc. It's going to be a pleasure working with you and be able to stand beside you, Tim Cato, and Bobby Karalla as we jump off this venture here on our debut episode of DLLS Mavs. Again, you can find him on X at the Steinline. We're going to be dialing up the Steinline a lot this season, so look forward to that coverage here on our program. Marc, appreciate the time, man, and look forward to continuing our conversation, man. Thank you.
Launch day is here. We did it. We made it.
We did it, man. We'll talk to you on the other side. Appreciate Marc Stein joining us here on the program. Part 2 of our conversation will take place tomorrow, so don't forget to tune in to DLLS Mavs for part 2 of our conversation with our NBA insider, Marc Stein. Coming up here in just a moment, why we're here, what you can expect from us in terms of our coverage here at DLLS Mavs. More on that here in just a moment. But before we get there, let me talk to you about Rugged Road. Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. Our products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring they perform in the toughest conditions. As you can see, I got one of the coolers right here next to me here on the program. One of the most unique features of Rugged Road coolers is their ability to always float upright, and you will never lose a drink. Because I don't want to lose a drink. Do you guys want to lose a drink? No?
I think I'm going to use it as a boat.
Use it as a boat? Well, it's durable for sure. It's crafted to handle the toughest environments. Their coolers are built to last, ensuring they keep up with any adventure. The coolers are guaranteed to keep their contents cool for up to 7 days, but oftentimes much longer than that. Perfect for a variety of outdoor activities, from fishing, tubing, to camping, and tailgating. These coolers are designed to meet the needs of every outdoor or sports enthusiast like my guy, Bobby Karalla. So gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Reliable, durable, and built to be used. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code DLLS for 10% off today.
I want to talk about a little bit about our content plan, Kevin, and give a little special offer to the viewers today.
I love special offers. Love that. So, by the way, yes, we know CeeDee Lamb signed.
Well, I was going to break the news.
Oh, you were going to break the news?
I was going to break the news.
You're going to break the news?
Yeah,
Go ahead,
so
do that.
Here's what you can expect from us at DLLS. So we're doing daily shows. So 5 days a week, we're going to cover every sport in town. We're launching, of course, with Cowboys, which you've already seen. Mavs going right now. Stars and Rangers coming up later today, and we're rolling out new teams very, very soon. Whenever special things happen, like, for example, CeeDee Lamb signing a 4-year, $136 million contract with $38 million guaranteed, you'll even be getting emergency pods, and we're already rounding up the Cowboys team together to come in and do that.
Why do they get the first emergency? I want to do one now.
Well, you got to.
We haven't even finished. I want to do. I'm gonna go make up some news. Okay.
No, don't do that. Don't make up the news. Please
don't do that. No fake
news.
Please
don't do that.
On launch day.
Katia will absolutely lose it if you're talking about making up news. We don't want to do that here on the program.
But that's not all we're offering here at DLLS Sports. So we have a website, alldlls.com. Now, much of that content is going to be for free. All of these podcasts we're doing on YouTube every day, they will be for free. But there will be premium written content on our site that you can gain access to by becoming a diehard. You see the graphic on the screen. That's not the only thing you get for becoming a diehard. First off, and most importantly, you become part of a community. You become part of a community with a whole lot of other people that are also diehards. You get premium written content on the site. You get 20% off future events, which will include things like tailgates, game tickets even, and other community events. You get merch for all teams. Whenever you sign up and become a diehard, you get a free shirt. Now, the cost of becoming a diehard is halfway covered by just the cost of the shirt. And today, if you sign up today only, you get $12 off the annual membership, which means it's an even better deal. So go to alldlls.com right now, become a diehard, and to top it all off, you get to join me on Discord. Previously, the only way to find me on Discord was to join a Pokemon Draft League Discord, but I'm now on the DLLS Discord too. We'll be active in there doing live Q&As and so on. So become a diehard today. Collect all of your freebies and all of your giveaways and all of your discounts today, and let's get this party started. Now let's get back to the show. That went longer than a minute. My bad, Kat. I'll do better next time.
It was great stuff, though. A lot of stuff to become a diehard member, especially at a discount today.
CD signed a contract. We had to go long on that.
Exactly. We are very excited, so don't forget to tune in to the emergency pod talking about the signing of CeeDee Lamb, Cedarian Lamb. He's huge contract for him, but we're going to talk about some more Mavs, but more importantly, what we are going to be doing here, how we're here, why we're here, and what it means for us to provide you that kind of coverage that you're looking for when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks. And Bobby, I'll start with you this time since Tim doesn't want me to start with him. I'll start with you. You are coming from an organization with the Mavericks, 10 plus years there, 11, I believe, to be exact.
Yep.
And now you have made the jump over to DLLS Mavs. Was the breakup hard? Was it hard to leave? Or what was the feelings about coming from that organization to this one, knowing what you wanted to provide for Mavericks fans in this community?
Yeah, the real appeal of coming here, I was at the Mavs full-time for 9 years and 2 years part-time before that. So my first season covering the team was the Monte year. Jose Calderon, Vince Carter from the corner to give the Mavs a 2-1 lead over the Spurs in the first round. Great times. Got to cover the final years of Dirk's career, the first several years of Luka's career with the team, and with all the unique privileges and access that come along with that. But this company's focus, and this is not just some like spiel, I really mean this, like this company's focus is on community building. It's on building a culture. It's on rallying the entire city together, the entire fan base together, specifically in Dallas-Fort Worth. But I mean, as we all know, there are people probably in the chat right now that live in Slovenia or Spain or the Philippines or Australia or anywhere else in the world. There were at the Mavs, we did streams in Studio 41 where we would have people literally from every continent, I think, except for maybe Africa or Antarctica. I mean,
wow,
no Antarctica. Kat, did we ever get to Antarctica? South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia, of course, North America. We had people watching from all over the world. So it was really cool to build that community. But that's what this entire company's goal is. And it's not just limited to the Mavs. It's the entire sports ecosystem in Dallas. And, the thing that's really special about it is that there are Mavs fans who are also Cowboys fans. There are Stars fans who are Rangers fans. There's Dallas Wings fans that are Mavs fans, and we do have some Dallas Wings content coming down the pipeline.
Ooh,
so we're going to be covering college sports and all sorts of things. So sports fandom is a community. Specifically in DFW, it really feels like we got the Avengers here. Kevin, you keep calling us the Avengers.
That's what I'm going to refer to us as. It feels like I'm working with the Avengers of the Mavericks landom, if you will, if that's even a word.
Yeah, but it's sounding good to me. It's coming from everywhere doing everything, right?
Yes.
Like Tim, you and Mark are known more, Tim, you've had the podcast for a while now, but Tim and Mark are known more for their writing, but now you get to do a daily show. Kevin, you and I are probably known more for blabbering on and on and on, but like we get to flex our writing muscles a little bit. We get to get out in the community and have watch parties and just like get to know people, and that's what I'm really excited about. It's just taking fandom to the next level. And again, like this company's motto is we make it fun to be a Mavs fan. We make it fun to be a Cowboys fan. We make it fun to be a sports fan. And that's what it's all about. Like my first ever pinned tweet was basketball is fun. Like this has been my bit forever. And, I'm really excited to get to work for a company where that's kind of the number one focus all day, every day. And as for what we're doing, daily shows.
Daily shows.
Daily podcasts. Daily
and
written articles.
Shows.
Yeah, we're pre and post game for every single game. We're going to get written coverage for every single game. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll maybe not daily. Yeah. maybe not daily. Maybe not daily.
Yeah, I mean, I came here. I talked a little bit about it already earlier in the show, but I really just had to come see how Bobby looked at a grown-up job.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
I get to be unleashed now.
You want to see how he lived on the
anymore.
other side.
In all seriousness, like the people coming here was absolutely something that gave me confidence to make this jump. Bobby is someone that I've known for over 10 years. Met at a practice in 2013.
Yeah, my first day. Yeah,
and we've been friends. In and around everything that we've done with the Mavericks and outside of that. And Kevin, I've been going on your podcast. How many times have I been on your podcast for free?
All right, Tim. Yes, for free.
No.
Thank you.
I'm just saying.
Thank you. Appreciate
now
that. I know, right? Jeez,
I was happy to go.
Now.
I went on there that many times because I enjoyed it so much, and now I also get paid for it here. That's another Venn diagram.
Oh, that's another one?
Literally, the reason I came here is Venn diagrams.
That's amazing.
And look, I don't need to say how respected and legendary of a journalist Marc Stein is.
For sure.
I can't imagine there was a single writer I read before I read a story of his about the Dallas Mavericks. And obviously, I've gotten to know him over the years now, but to actually work with him is something that, a much younger version of myself is still just, it's bewildering. It's almost baffling.
The 33-year-old version of myself is fired up to get to work.
That's good. That's good.
So I do want to have fun here, and we are going to have fun here, both with a little banter, a little crosstalk, little laughs and jokes on many live shows we will be doing, as you covered. I want to have a little bit fun with what I do as a writer. I am still a beat writer for the Dallas Mavericks. That is still my job. I will still be doing that type of content. And I will be doing features and serious journalism and, reporting news if it comes my way, or, just, finding some angle or trend that nobody else has and just seeing what's up with it. These are things that I still enjoy doing. I'm a writer, a reporter, a journalist. These are all core identities of me, but I can also hop on, ALLDLLS.com. There's a couple articles already up. I can hop on there and basically just make a joke for every game of the season. 82 jokes. There's a lot of jokes. I didn't realize how much I was signing up for.
That's right.
And I don't know. To me, this is my version of having fun. It's having internet fun, having some fun online. You know what that's like.
Yeah, have a bit of fun.
Yeah,
have a bit of fun.
Yeah. And the internet needs to be a more fun place.
Aren't we trying to just have fun?
And so
that's all we're trying to
there's going to be a mix of that. All four of us, when Mark is back stateside.
That's right.
It will always be some combination of us. I'm sure down the road we will have guests. We will have much, much, much more. But this is going to be a place where these shows will be fun and they will be interactive. Tell us what you guys want us to talk about. We're here the
for
chat. We'll be in the Discord. There's going to be a lot of segments to fill.
We're people of the people.
We will happily take ideas. We are people of the people
and of the world too. Shout out to Robert Morris. He's in Berlin watching.
Oh,
Shout out to Fabi. He's in Germany watching. Robert, I'm especially mentioning you in Berlin because I'm a pro wrestling fan. Bash of Berlin this weekend should be a really good pay-per-view for the WWE.
Kevin, you launching a wrestling pod here?
I might be.
What
you never know.
Here?
I might be launching a wrestling podcast. But Kati the fan club. Hashtag Kati the fan club.
Cat is in the building.
Wow. Shout out to
Cat is here.
Exactly. It's amazing. But I echo the same sentiments as you guys, formerly being on the radio, most recently as the pre and post game host of the Mavericks Radio Network, having a chance to work with these individuals, whether it be Bobby, Tim, Marc Stein, and just the talented collection of people here at DLLS Mavs. It was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. And more importantly, everything that we're going to do for you has you in mind, whether it be the watch parties, whether it be the pre and post game shows, whether it be the daily podcast we do. Everything that we're going to do has you in mind. So we want you to become a diehard member. We want you to do all the things to join us in building this community because we believe in it. We believe in the mission of it. But most importantly, we're going to have a ton of fun talking Mavericks basketball all the time. It's a fantastic time to be a Mavericks fan. Luka Doncic on fire, MVP candidate every year. This team just went to the NBA Finals for the first time in 13 years. If you are a Mavericks fan, you are excited about the direction of this team, and we're happy to take you on this journey. And most importantly, I couldn't be more excited to work with all of these amazing individuals. And yeah, we're going to have a ton of fun 5 times a week. I get to look at you and your
you know what they
faces.
say about August? It's the busiest news month of the NBA.
Every single year.
Every single year. We may run out of time to get through all the topics that we need to this
Every
week.
day, though, I mean, it's going to be a bit of a grind. But, here's the thing. Like, Tim, you've been grinding for years. Like, Kevin, you and I got to know each other during the COVID season.
That's
whenever,
right.
We were the only people legally allowed
in the gym.
Arena.
That's right.
That's what we do. We eat, sleep, live, breathe, drink basketball.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
And come hang out with us because that's what it should feel like. That's how I want this to feel like. I know you guys do as well.
Yeah.
We're just the three of us, the four of us, whatever combination it is. We're just up here hanging out. And it's going to be a whole lot of Mavericks, but sometimes it's not. And sometimes it's going to go down a weird diatribe of some other random thing, especially in August. And then we'll get to the season. Basketball's not far off. It's not far away. And we're going to have plenty of time to just go through everything there is to the season. I do think that last year, just the way that the company was going and, had nothing to do with the eventual decision I made. But, there was a little bit of the day-to-day stuff that I just wasn't, I had opinions on and I just didn't know where to get them out.
Spilling tea.
And
let's go.
That's, we're going to have plenty of time for that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Plenty of time for that. And coming up in just a moment, I want you to fill up the chat. I want to know what your expectations are for the Mavericks after making the NBA Finals last year. We're going to jump into that here in just a moment. I want to shout out a couple more people in the chat as well. Shout out to Luke. Good luck, everyone, watching from Australia.
Let's go, Luke.
Also, Reader's Digest, REIDER' Digest. Shout out to him. I'm watching from work downtown, looking onto Victory Plaza, so not too far down the road.
Maybe even in this very same building.
Maybe in the same building. So shout out to all of you joining us in the chat.
Avery Kid Rick, by the way. Let's move on.
Okay.
Wow. Wow. Doing a lot already.
Okay.
Let's move on.
But before we get to our next topic and your expectations when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks, Bobby, I'm going to toss it to you because you were mentioning about our diehard members a little bit earlier. Tell us more about how you can become a diehard member here with DLLS.
Yeah, so first off, shout out to some of our newest diehards. We got Braxton just signed up, Aaron just signed up, David just signed up, Enver just signed up. So what happens when you become a diehard? Again, it is an annual fee, and today only you get $12 off that annual fee. Right when you sign up, you get a code for a free shirt of your choice. And there's more than 35 shirts to choose from currently live in our marketplace right now. And that pays for more than half of the membership fee. So you're actually like making money by signing up. Truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But in addition to getting a cool shirt, you also are granted access to the entirety of our written content on our website, but also you get discounts on any live events we do, including tailgate parties, and we're going to do takeovers at games where we rent out rows and sections in arenas, and we invite all the diehards to come out and hang out with us. You guys get first picks, first dibs at all of those things. It's going to be really, really fun, and there's 100,000 seats at Jerry World. There's only 20,000 seats at Mavs games. And so if you want to get in at a good deal, hey, maybe becoming a diehard is the best way to do it. But ultimately, again, like this is about building a community. If you ever watch anything I did at the Mavs, any of the live streams we did on Studio 41, post-game, pre-game, day-to-day, eating our vegetables after tough losses, there is a lot of unity.
Katya's like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's a lot of unity in the word community. Like that's what this is all about. It's about getting to know each other. It's about having fun, whether it's in the dog days of summer or it's the third game in 4 nights, and Luka's out and Kyrie is looking injured, and we all wish that we could sim to the end. But that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. We're here to live through all of those moments and experience them together. Us in person,
yeah,
but then with everybody around the world online. I think it's gonna be great.
I do think that there's a lot of unity in the word community because it just stands
the
for
whole
communal
thing.
unity.
The word unity is literally in the word.
I'm a bit of a wordsmith.
Oh, really? So you're going to be writing a lot, it sounds like.
I'm not a wordsmith.
Yep. No, now you're not a wordsmith anymore. No,
I've got an article that I was going to work on later.
Daily
you want to take over
from Bobby Karalla
Tim is the word.
Yes, looking forward to that.
So, I'm excited to have more pieces not behind a paywall. I know for some people that was just not a functional thing at all times.
It's kind of your fault, Tim, actually, if we think about it, but that's neither here nor there.
It is. A lot of things are my fault if you really think about it.
Good point.
Yeah, one thing I do want to say, though, real quick, so Nick from Locked On is in the chat. Dude, Locked On Mavs is awesome. Like, we're not here to compete with anybody or whatever. Like,
no, we're actually here to beat the brakes off of Nick.
No, dude.
Now that you mention it,
one thing that has become
love you, Nick. Just joking.
One thing that's become super clear to all of us, like over the last few years, is Mavs fans have an insatiable appetite for content.
Yes,
right?
they do.
So, like, whether you hang out with us live, whether you listen to the pod afterward, whether you only read, whether you only watch, like there's going to be something here for you whenever you want it. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it. So here we can all win. Luka is the tide that lifts all boats, baby.
He is. And we want you, of course, remember, podcasts, live shows, you become a diehard member, Discord, we'll be able to chat with you. We'll be able to hang out with you. All the things that you want to be able to have yourself feel closer to the Mavericks, insider access, all those things you'll get as being a part of being with DLLS Mavs. Dope merch on all the items. You get, again, a free t-shirt when you become a member. We want you to become a part of this community every single day, and more importantly, invest in what you believe is going to help you become a better fan each and every day. You can not only become a better fan, but you can become a lover of this team when you listen and watch the coverage from Bobby, from Tim, myself, and also, of course, from Marc Stein, who will be popping on all of the other NBA shows as well. So we've got a lot of coverage to offer you every single day here on DLLS Mavs. We're a community that supports our other shows as well. There's going to be an emergency pod with the Cowboys. Our Ranger show is going to be coming up here in just a moment.
Busy day.
After us as well. So,
dude, we have a very special member of the Stars panel that just showed up in the office today. Oh, my gosh.
Really? Oh, wow. Look at that. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Owen Newkirk, Quake Ludwig, all kinds of folks going to be joining on the Stars as well. So we've got a lot of coverage to offer here at DLLS Mavs. Become a diehard member today.
Do it.
Do it. Do it now.
Do it.
Do it right now.
Can we talk some basketball?
Yeah, before we end today, again, fill up the chat. We want you to tell us, what are your expectations of the Mavericks after coming off an NBA Finals appearance for the first time in 13 years? Luka Doncic coming, of course, falling in 5 games to the Celtics in the NBA Finals. It was a magical year for this team, but at the same time, expectations now that much higher now that Klay Thompson has arrived. Tim, I'll go back to you as we end this show for today. Expectations for the Mavericks coming off a Finals appearance and with the moves that they made Quentin Grimes, Najee Marshall, of course, the headliner, and Klay Thompson.
To be as good or better as they were last season.
Yeah. Javier says championship or bust.
Woo.
Woo.
I think that's a valid. I think that's a valid way to feel. A valid place.
Tough.
I would argue that this team could be better and not make the finals. It's winning is hard and winning is random. The reason you play best of 7 series is to reduce some of that randomness. You can't do it entirely. This is not me saying that I look back at any of the series Dallas won in their run to the finals and think that it should have gone a different direction. In fact, I very strongly and firmly think that Dallas was the better team in each one of them. But Oklahoma City is a team that's going to get better. There are things that can happen during the course of a playoff series that just swing it one way or the other. There are really good teams in the West. So Dallas has 82 games to show that they made changes, and they made changes because they knew what they were bad at and they knew what needed to improve. And they have those 82 games to prove that they have improved and have improved on those weaknesses. Then they have a postseason to prove it again, prove it in a different way. And that's the question for Dallas for me going into this year. If you are championship or bust, absolutely, that's your right as a fan. That's a perfectly valid place to be. But I do think that a deep playoff run that shows that this team is still progressing and learning and solving areas that let them down last year. I think that's what I would, from my perspective, be asking of this team.
I mean, last season they made it to the finals, smashing success, but they played every single game one on the road.
They did.
And you cannot count on that happening ever again, even if you are better.
So it sounds like a minimum top 4 seed for you.
Yeah, you need a top 4. Going into last season, and that's me, the Mavs guy. That's whenever I was being paid by the team that was cutting the checks to Luka. I said they have to be top 6, and you have to win the first round or be super competitive. You lose game 7 at the buzzer, whatever. Try hard again next year, but you now have to play game 1 at home in the first round. You cannot count on stealing one. You can't count on winning in 6 and wearing the black jerseys. Like, you can't do that
because they're not great at winning game 1s to begin with.
Yeah, no,
especially under Jason Kidd so far.
I mean, they went 1-3 in those last year, right? They won game 1 in Minnesota, and like that alone, like let alone playing game 1 on the road, losing game 1 and then winning all the series is super unlikely. You cannot try and just repeat that formula over and over and over again. I think the main point of bringing in Klay Thompson and the main point of trying to replace Derek Jones player for player with Najee, which we'll see, but essentially they're just trying to upgrade on the team from last year. The main point behind that is to make the regular season easier for Kyrie and Luka so that in April they're not playing 40 minutes a game just so that your season doesn't come down to a play-in. That can no longer be the case. Scratch and claw to get the 4th seed. Scratch and claw to get the 3rd seed. Prove you belong. Play game 1 at home against a team that is worse than you, against a team that you should beat. Don't try and climb a mountain in the first round just to have to do it all over again in the second round and then do it again in the third round and then do it again in the finals because you will run out of gas.
And it might be easier. They won a lot of games after the trade deadline.
They did. Yeah. I mean, they did. I don't think they're going to go like 65-17, but I do think
that would be amazing.
They're going to be markedly better than they were last year. And I mean, reason for optimism, I guess, is OKC is the only other team in the West that I think like legitimately got better that at least made the playoffs last year. Like the Spurs got better, but we'll see if they enter that conversation. But like the other teams that were in the top 6, I don't know that any of them did enough to pass Dallas.
Yeah,
with the exception of maybe OKC staying ahead of them.
No, I agree. And I think for me, a top 4 seed in the West at minimum to start, a team that can get back to at least the Western Conference semifinals, maybe another Western Conference Finals run, I think is the minimum expectation for this team. You're hoping with the addition of Klay Thompson and his three-point shooting, even with him being a little bit older, but also now a full offseason and training camp for this group to be able to get together, whether it's Daniel Gafford, P.J. Washington, you mentioned the guys that came over, at the trade deadline, now having a full offseason to work out together. This, to me, is a team that should have the aspirations of being a top 4 seed in the West. When you got Oklahoma City, you've got Denver, you got Minnesota. The West is going to be treacherous this year with some other teams looking to make some comebacks themselves, namely a team like maybe the Memphis Grizzlies, the New Orleans Pelicans. There are going to be some teams that we don't necessarily are talking about right now that could be better this upcoming season as well. But if you're the Mavericks, you've got a top 5 player in Luka Doncic, 5-time first-team All-NBA selection. Kyrie Irving's had a resurgence in his career. Those two fitting together like a glove.
He was so good last year, Kyrie.
Yeah, he was great. 25, 5, and 5 pretty much every night you were getting from Kyrie Irving. And if he's able to maintain his health, again, that's going to be a question with Luka for sure. But if this team can stay healthy and the chemistry, the trust, the communication, those buzzwords that Jason Kidd is always talking about, if that can continue to grow, this team has a chance to do something really special this upcoming year.
They could also just win all 82.
They could.
That was
amazing.
Amazing.
Is that in your preview?
That would definitely be an improvement. I don't think a team's ever really done that before.
I think in my preview, I have like 3 different game winners being made against the Mavericks. 2 of them by Max Strus.
Chimezie Metu.
Oh, did you have to bring up the whole Max Strus deal, man?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Dude. Yeah, I saw Cammy in there referencing eating vegetables, talking about Chimezie Metu from the corner. I'm not interested in reliving those days.
Those were some terrible days.
But one thing about kind of the climb, right? I see a lot of people in the chat saying 55 wins, 58 wins, 57, wins, you need to be top 4. Like, the way that you're top 4 is by adding depth to where you can survive if Kyrie has to miss 7 games or Luka sprains his ankle and he misses 2 weeks. In the past, as recently as last season, the Mavs were lucky to tread water without even one of them.
Yeah.
And without both of them, it's just a loss.
Like, you're just going to lose. Pretty much every position on this team this year, it feels like.
And you have to, for better or worse, you have to essentially just build in 15 to 25 games that Kyrie and Luka are going to miss. Sure. Hopefully not at the same time, but they're not going to play all 82. You can't go 500 in those and win 55 games. You have to be able to win more. So, like, adding Spencer Dinwiddie could be super underrated. Jaden Hardy developing could be super underrated. Hopefully Dante Exum can stay healthy. Klay Thompson, obviously, that speaks for itself. Can you find something in Quentin Grimes? Now you got the big man rotation all year, so if Derek Lively takes an awkward fall after a dunk, you're not patching it together at center for 2 weeks.
Here comes Daniel Gafford, yeah.
You need the depth. That is what separates the good from the great, is whenever your best player is out, are you losing 100% of the time or 40% of the time?
I think Gafford... I think this team is going to be really good at beating bad teams. I think Daniel Gafford is the type of player that kind of represents that. When he went on the 33 consecutive made field goals.
Yeah.
A lot of that was coming against Detroit's and Chicago's. I just don't think that bad teams have the players who can, guard him. And what I mean by guard Gafford is they cannot guard a Luka Gafford pick and roll. He is the type of floor-raising player. We saw his limitations in the postseason. I think another example of that is raising, they were bottom 5 corner 3-point shooting team.
By bottom 5 and number 1 in volume.
Number 1 in volume, bottom 5.
Don't mistake productivity for activity.
You become a top 10 corner 3-point shooting team. That is a shot that you can rely on. That's a shot that, is I was looking at Spencer Dinwiddie, who's been shooting over 50% the past couple of years, just from the corners on threes. We know about Quentin Grimes, and we know that Najee Marshall was good at that. Like, these are small things, but it's, again, to tie it back, this is all talking about how would the Mavericks win 55, 58 games. A lot of it comes because they have a few players that just make them a devastating team to play against, when you're demonstratively worse than them. And I could see that happening. I could see them coasting and going and, just below, against below 500 teams. I guess you're not literally going to play 41 of them every year, but something around there.
Yeah, you're going to play a lot of them, and you need to line up. In the West, there are going to be many losers in the West.
It depends on your schedule, but about half the teams you play will be under 500. That is kind of how 500 works.
Yeah.
I mean, yes. So I could see the Mavericks being, let's say it's 41, 36 and 5. I think that's very plausible. I'd like that. No joke at all. And then you add 20 wins from the other 41. In fact, that's only 500 right there. So
yeah, what does that add up to? 56?
That's like 56
on
wins.
record. Tim Cato on record.
No, that's not my prediction.
56 wins for the Mavs. Folks, you heard it here first.
We may get to some of that a little bit later on this week as well, in terms of what the record may be for the Mavericks this upcoming season.
Yeah, we should.
We'll definitely get into that.
Yeah, you want to know why? Because we're going to be here again tomorrow. We
can do it
all over
single
again.
Day. We're going to do this all over again tomorrow. 12:30.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't remember the schedule.
All right, Bob. We'll get that together. But that's the kind of coverage you can expect every single day here on DLLS Mavs. From myself, Kevin Gray, Tim Cato, Bobby Karalla, and of course tomorrow, Marc Stein, part 2 of our interview there. We're going to have him back as well. So the Stein line, we're going to be dialing up once again tomorrow here on DLLS Mavs. Again, don't forget to become a diehard member. Join us. This is a massive community that we're building here at DLLS Mavs. We're so excited for you to join us here, and we're excited to be able to have this ride with you guys.
We have 3 chairs. I think
Mark,
I'm going to get replaced by Stein.
No, you're not going to get replaced by Stein.
I'm going to sacrifice myself.
Tim, Bobby, don't do that.
Oh,
no,
sorry.
hey,
I thought it was on you. I thought it was just a close-up.
No,
My
the
bad.
camera's literally on you right now.
DLLS.com to become a diehard. I believe the CD Lamb contract news might have crashed our website. So just like
Amazing.
come back
That's
in a
great
few
to
minutes. But a one-day only deal. Become a diehard today. What are you waiting for? Don't be a loser. Everybody else is doing it. That's
it for us today here on DLLS Mavs. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 12:30 right here on DLLS Mavs. We're out.
We all silly like the mayor.